Hello, my name is Jemmy, and today I am going to be giving you a brief overview on basic data science. And basically, it's just syntax in Python. We probably mostly know all this already. I'm just going to give a quick review over it. So these are the basic like functions or like the basic what Python can do basically. And I'm going to be testing it in Google Colab since it's easy and it's very accessible. You just need to go search Google Colab, click the first link, and then sign in, and then just click File, and then New Notebook, and then you just can come into a page like mine. Although mine has code and yours probably doesn't. So yeah, let's get into it. So the first thing, one of the most basic things is math in Python. So here is math. Here's math. Basically this is 1 plus 1, and if I were to run it, then it would come out 2. 1 second, it's going to connect to your account and it's going to initialize. So we gotta wait for a bit. And if you're wondering how like I got this doggo or like these kitty cats, what I did was I just need to go into uh, edit and then go to notebook settings and then wait no sorry go to tools settings and then go to miscellaneous, and then in here we just enable corgi mode and kitty mode, and then the site I set it to dark. If you set it to light, then it's gonna burn your eyes like so. Holy so yeah, I recommend setting it to dark because it's more better for coding in my opinion. Light, it just makes your eyes like be gone. Yeah, so yeah, first is just addition, and you can see that it comes out 2, and that's just 1 plus 1. 2 minus 1 is going to come out 1. 1 times 3 is going to come out 3. I should probably just restart runtime, which should just restart all of these outputs. So let me restart runtime. There we go. Restarting, initializing. Alright. So now I'm just going to go ahead and just going to clear out the output so we can look at it together. These are really basic stuff, so we should be able to cover them in no time. Okay, so I just finished deleting all of the outputs, and now we're going to be back at this page. So shift enters to run. Okay, 1 plus 1 equals to 2, 2 minus 1 equals to 1, 1 times 3 equals to 3, and so on. And then in here, 1 divided by 2, it goes to 0.5, and then 2.1 minus 1. This just goes to show that Python can also run floats, not only integers, like there, 1.1. And then if you were wondering how to use exponents, and this is how, two stars instead of 1, like multiplication, instead we have 2, and that is exponent. So 2 by the power of 4 equals to 4. Oh, sorry, 16. Yeah, I look really stupid. So yeah, 4 squared is 16. I forgot. Yeah. Anyways, okay, we're not gonna be looking at that too much. So 4. Now we have the percentage sign. It's called mod. Mod is to just get a remainder. So you might have learned about remainders in like first or second grade, where you divide two numbers and then like the leftover number, then you just like use that. You just like put r and then the leftover number. Yeah. So this is basically like that. So pretend I have 5, right? So then oops, I deleted the thing. So pretend I have 5 divided or like mod 2. 2 goes into 5 2 times, and then there's a leftover of 1, and then it would print out the leftover, which is 1, like so. And then here, Python also knows Pemdas, which is orders of operation. So parentheses first, then exponents, then multiplication and division are the same thing, and then addition and subtraction. So you can see parentheses, it'll do this and this first, and then it will times each other. So it would be 5, 10 times together equals 50. So it should come out 50, like so, okay? And then in this one, just print hello world. You can print it with quotation marks, like so, and then it'll get you this result, hello world. And you can print it with single quotes too, and it will also get you to a result of hello world. And then in here, we're going to be moving on to lists. List is just really simple. It's like a place to store data in Python. So in here we create a list by having two brackets like so. I might need to increase it because yeah, like so. There's two brackets like this, and then inside of the brackets there are integers, uh, strings, another list in there, anything basically, and just put it inside of this and have the name of the list equals to uh, like so, and then in between each object there is a comma to separate them, and then let's just print the list. So right now the list contains a 1 2 3 and high. There we go, 1 2 3 high. And to get into a specific part of the list, like pretend you only want the number 1, then it would be print list, but then inside of there it would be not parentheses, brackets, and then the digit you want. And then you can also hover your mouse over it and you can see the list, like list. And then so number 0 or list position 0 is 1, and position 1 is 2, position 2 is 3, and position 3 is high. It might be a little confusing because in Python we start from 0 and then we work our way up, so the first position would be 0. Alright, let's run this, and it should be 1. Okay, and pretend we want like 1 2 3, but we don't want high. Then we would print list brackets 0 parentheses, not parentheses, colon, and then to the one that you want. So right now it's 3, and if we want 3 2, then we got to make sure to change this to no 3, since it stops at the last one. So 3 over here is this one, right? However, it would stop before it, so it would be 1 2 3. So we got to plan 1 over like so. And then in here, list 0 equals to new. This is how to append into a list. There's other ways too, such as dot append, but this is one of them. List bracket 0 equal new. You can assign this to wherever you want, like what position you want this new object to go in, and right now we want to go into slot 0. So if we were to run this, then it would do that, but we wouldn't see it yet since we need to print it out again. Oh no, sorry, I need to print it separately because, or else it would just set the list. So print list, like so. And there we go, new 2 3 high. And you can see that 1 is also removed since this one just replaces 1. There's also another way, I'll show you down here. It's dot append, and it's also a way to do this. However, dot append doesn't require you to replace it. It just like adds it in, rather than just replacing it. But this is one way of adding a new thing into the list. And then here, this is we're moving on to complicated list. I call it C list because it's a little bit more complicated. In here, you can see that there's a list inside of the list, right? So it's a bit complicated. So there's A, B, C, and then after that, that's A, 0, B, 1, C, 2, and then in slot number 3, there is a list. And now you can access this list by just saying C list 3, which prints out that smaller list. And inside that smaller list, we can go into even. So like pretend we want number 3, right? So we would just print 2 into that smaller list. And there we go, we have the number 3. So you can go even inside of this list, you can have another list and another list and another list. And you can even have multiple stuff like a dictionary. And I'll be going over a dictionary soon, right here. And this is a comment, by the way. You just need a hashtag before, and then it'll just be a comment. The comments are used for data scientists or programmers to know like what this code is used for. So the next time they come back, they won't forget what it is. Yeah, so this is a comment, and it's used for data scientists to know and programmers to know what this piece of code is used for. And you can just make it anything, and you can put it anywhere too, as long as it has the hashtag in front of it. Okay, let's move on to the next one, which is dictionaries. So dictionary equals to name. This is called, I'm pretty sure this is called the item, and then there's another one inside of here, and you can just call out the item and it'll just Bun bun. Sorry, it's just bun bun. So the dictionary, right? There's the item, and then inside the item there's the object, and oops, sorry, and then there's the object. So you just have to call out the item. Ugh. Well, since he wanted to be in the scene so badly, here he is. Bun bun. Ah! He really wanted to be in here. So bun bun, say hello to the camera. Hello. Good boy. Okay, you can go. Hey, don't be naughty, cat. Hello. Say hello, bun bun. Hello. Alright, you can go now. Okay, don't come back. Alright. So yeah, that was a quick bun bun thingy. He wanted to come in, so I let him in. But yeah, continuing what we just said. There's the item, and then there is the object. So you just have to call out the item, and then it'll print out the object. So in here, the item is name, and then the object is Jemmy. And what you do is print the name of the dictionary, and then inside of the dictionary we have the brackets, and inside of the brackets we just print out the name of the item in the quotation marks or single quotes to make sure that it's like it's like a string. And we're gonna just shift enter, and there we go, it prints out Jemmy. And in here, to create a dictionary, we need two curly brackets, not like a straight one anymore. And inside, separating the item from the object, we have a colon, like so. And yeah, it'll print out the object for us if we call out the item. Now let's move on to another thing. It's a tuple or a tuple. You know, people have a lot of opinions about this word. Some people call it tuple, some people call it tuple, some people call it tuple. I don't know. So I'm just gonna call it tuple or tuple. I don't know either. I'll just call it tuple. Okay, I'm just gonna call it tuple. I'll just call it whatever I want. Okay. So I'll call it tuple, and a tuple is very similar to a list, being that they are similar to each other. A dictionary is not similar because it has the item and the object. However, a tuple also stores objects just like a list does. However, there is a big difference. In tuples, right? You cannot edit it, meaning that you cannot like add any more information, or you can like delete any information. It's like set in stone. So it's like when you create it, then it's set. And inside of a list, however, we can add it or replace it or cut it out, as we saw earlier. So both of them have their good and bad sides. But yeah, a tuple is different from a list, but they are pretty similar. And to create a tuple, we need two parentheses surrounding our objects inside of the tuple. And then once we have it, then we're done. So inside of this tuple, I have 1, 2, 3, and when we print out the tuple, we can print out the whole thing like a list, or we can print out one of them, which is going to be number 2 this time. So tuple brackets, what? Type is not subscriptable. Okay, so yeah, this is because you can't edit it, so we have to print out the whole thing. Yeah, okay. Print tuple. Okay, okay, let's just delete this. What if we just do like that? It just prints out tuple. Okay. Let's try hello. Okay. Hello equals to the tuple. Maybe we can't use tuple since it's a keyword or something. Hello is not defined. I forgot to capitalize. Hello is not defined. Okay, let's try it now. There we go. So I don't know why you can't do it in separate cells, but you can't do it in separate cells, I guess. So in here I renamed my tuple to hello, and we could in Google Colab you just need to type out the name, then it prints out it for you. However, we shouldn't habit this because in other like IDEs then it wouldn't do this for us. But in Google Colab is an exception. So I don't understand why it couldn't run in separate cells. However, we can just run in the same cell. It doesn't really matter. So in here, we're going to use the same code we did earlier. We're going to print out number 2. There we go. It prints out number 2. Okay, let's move on to the next one. So this one, let's try to add in a new object into the tuple. It's not gonna work. It's gonna come up an error, but I'm just going to show you that it's different from a list because it can't add new stuff. There we go. It comes up an error. This type does not support item assignment, meaning that the tuple you cannot add anything new or you cannot really edit it. It's just set in stone. Yeah. Okay, let's move on to the next one. This one is a set. A set is kind of like another tuple, but and like a list. However, it's different. So 1, 2, 3, right? Let's just run this. It prints out 1, 2, 3, simple, right? Let me just delete this. I don't like errors. Like so. And then, however, if we have this long set, right? Let's see what it does. Will it print out 1, 2, 3? Yes, it does. This is because a set will eliminate every single duplicate number and will only have the same number. So no matter how much ones you put on there, if the list is just 1, it'll just print out 1, 1. Okay, if that makes sense. Or like pretend you have a million A's, right? Then it will only print out 1 if you just run it. And this is the specialty, no, the specialty of set. Okay, it prints out only one of the duplicate number or the duplicate object. It will only print one of them. And yeah, that's a set. Now let's move on to comparing. Comparing is like the things we do in math, right? 1 is greater than 2, which is obviously not true. So we're going to run this, and it should come out false. It's like a Boolean kind of like comparing like true or false. 1 equals to 1, true or false, true, right? Yeah, so in here, this is how to measure greater than. This one is equal sign. You don't actually have one equal sign in Python. Instead, you use 2 of them. Because I don't know, I didn't make Python. But yeah, you need to use 2 of them. To make it work, because if we see down here, this is 1 is less or equal to 2. If one of these applies, then it's going to be true. So like so, 1 is less or equal to 2 is true. 1 is greater or equal to 2. None of these 1 are, so it's going to be false. And then here's unequal. It's a exclamation point and then an equal sign. So 1 is not equal to 1. False, right? Let's move on to logic operation. So this one is just and or. So and right here we just and is very special. If one of those conditions are not true, then it will be a false. However, if both of them are true, then it's going to be a true. Okay, so let's look at the first one. 1 is greater than 0, true. 1 is equal to 1, that's also true, so it should come out true. Okay, now let's look at the true and false. So one of the conditions are false and the other one is true, right? So it's gonna come out false since it's like going to do this. And I'll try true and true. It should be true, right? So at first, when I was doing this, when I first started Python, I was like, I'm just going to make it look like it's a negative and positive number. False is going to be negative, true is going to be positive, because we all know that if a negative number comes with a positive number, right, it's going to turn into a negative. Like pretend like we have a plus and minus sign next to each other, and then it would become a minus. Because let me just show you an example. So like 1 plus 1, like so, and then like plus, and in brackets, negative 2 plus 1, right? So then we would do both of the equations. This one would come out 2, this would come out what? It would come out negative 1, right? So then we will open the parentheses, and now we don't usually see this in math, but we have a plus and minus sign next to each other, and this would turn out into a minus sign, and making this into 1. But yeah, this is not math class, but I'm just going to say that at first I thought that was going to be an accurate representation. However, once I looked at false and false, right? So 2 negative signs would equal to a positive. However, let's try false and false. It still turns out false, since if one of them is false, then it will be false, okay? And let's look at or now. So one of this isn't true. 1 equals to 2 is not true, it's false. 2 equals to true, on the other hand, is true. So if we were to run this, what would come out? It would come out true. In or, only one of the conditions need to be true. for it to say true. That's a wrap. But okay, it's unlike and, which both of them needs to be true to be true. However, if on or, you only need one of them to be true to make the results true. It's really complicated because it's true and false, but yeah, you probably get the gist of it. And now let's look on if, elif, and else. Yeah, so we're gonna be moving on if, elif, and else. So let's start. So if is just like, in basic programming, if this then that. Elif is a combination of else and if. Else you can see el, and if is if, and then elif is just like if, but it's just between if and else. And in else we just do the rest in else. So if 1 plus 1 equals to 2, then print first. If elif 3 equals to 3, print middle, else print last. So if it goes into 1 plus 1 equals to 2, then it's going to print out first, right? So let's try. Yeah, first. However, if we change this to 3, okay, it's going to not work anymore, so it's going to pop out and it's going to come to elif. And it says middle, since 3 equals to 3, and print middle. However, if this wasn't correct either, let's pretend like it's an equal to, it would print out last, since it pops out of elif and it goes into else. And then since else doesn't have a condition, it just prints out whatever's in else, which is last. And yeah, that's how if, elif, and else works. Now let's look at some loops. Let's begin with for loops. So this is my list that I'm going to be using for this for loop. It consists of 1, 2, 3, A, B, C. Okay. And let's move on to this one. For item in for list, print item. So this one will just print out 1, 2, 3, A, B, C. Okay, there you go. It just like repeats itself until it's done. So for item in here can actually be anything. It can be A, B, C, D, whatever you want. And it'll print it out. And in here we have for item in for list, print item plus item. So we're going to add all these up too. So let's see what the results. So you can see it doubles 2, 4, 6 instead of 1, 2, 3. And instead of A, B, C, it's A, A, B, B, C, C. And then in here it's for item in for list, print yes. So this is just printing out yes. So it just sees how much there are in here. And every time there's a list, there's an item, then it'll print out yes. So you can see there's 6, and then there's going to be 6 yeses. And let's move on to the while loop. The while loop in here, it's pretty simple, kind of like the for loop. However, the while loop, it's like while this, then you can run this. However, if it's out, then just stop. So here we have a while list, and it's 1. While list is smaller than 5. Print while list is, and then it just prints out the number. And then every time it repeats itself, it adds a 1 to the while list. So there we go. It's 1, 2, 3, 4. If we wanted to go to 5, then we gotta make it 6, like so. And then now let's move on to for I in range. This is another for loop. I just forgot to add it up there, so I added down here. For I in range, it's pretty special. You can limit how much you want, like repeating itself. So if you wanted to repeat it 5 times, then you set it to 5, like so. It prints 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, because it will print I, and I is this number. So if you want to go to like 10, right? We will have to 10, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. This is because it starts at 0. It actually has 10 items, but it just doesn't have the number 10 itself. And now let's move on to list comprehension or compensation. List compensation, okay. In list compensation there is, sorry, I just hit the mic. In list compensation there is 2 main things, the map and the filter. So the map is, it gets this, you can just like, it's a kind of like a way to eliminate some of the stuff. So you can have like a data that you want. 2, 3, 4, you can see that my list was 12, 23, and 44, but then it just got the second number of the list, and it got 2, 3, 4. And yeah, that's it. Okay, let's move on to this one. Let's see. This one is comp list equals to, this is a filter now. So it'll just filter out the things we don't want. So if the list or the item is longer than five, how do you call it? Than five characters, then it won't print it out. So the only two items that exceed 5 characters are motorcycle and scooter. So if we were to run this, it will only print out motorcycle and scooter. And however, if we were to do this, doesn't no, that's not gonna work. Is less than 5, then would print out car and bus. There we go, car and bus. And yeah, you can do a lot of stuff with it. Now let's move on to the last one, which is functions. So this one is a function called square, and it's just going to square our, how do you call it? It's going to square our the variable that we put in it. Right now it has a local variable of x, and we're going to be setting x. So let's define it. Let's run this first. So we can put in the answer. We can put in the number, and then it will square it for us. So we put in 2, it's going to give us 4, and 4. There we go. If we put in like a bigger number, like this, oh gosh, it's gonna come out the squared version of this. And we could make this bigger even, like make it not squared, instead let's make it cubed. Then we could just change this to times x again, and then it would become not square anymore, it's going to become cubed. As you can see, even bigger. And yeah, that is it for today. I hope you enjoyed. It was quite a long video, averaging around 30 minutes. But yeah, I hope you found something useful out of this. See you in the next one. Bye.